Hey guys, this is Marina here at IQ Podcast Studio with my show UnBroken here in Coronado, California. First live today. I just thought we'd give it a try and see what was happening in the world today. With my show today, I just kind of wanted to touch on judgment and being judged by family members. It's a dear-hearted situation that I have right now, actually, with one of my best friends in the entire world, my brother. Um, I was recently in a pretty big discussion with him, an argument with him with regards to judgment and how I found out him and his wife feel about me. And it kind of broke my heart. And I didn't understand a lot of where it was coming from or why. But to that end, we're going to discuss that right now. And obviously, any feedback you can give me, I will give you my email address and DM stuff so you can give me any answers maybe that I'm looking for to understand what's happening in my family world right now. So recently, well, actually, a couple months ago, I had posted an Instagram photo, and I just got done working out at my place, and I was laying on the couch. I was wearing a sports bra and shorts, workout shorts or whatever, and I posted it. And in the post, I put, "I'm bored," because I was bored. I mean, I was sweaty. It was gross. It wasn't an attractive picture. It was more just a, "Hey, I just got done working out. I'm bored." My daughter was with my parents for the night, and I was like, "Hey, let's hang out, whatever it is that we want to do." So I posted this picture, and I really didn't think anything of it. I didn't think it was a big deal or whatever. And the next day, I get a text from my brother saying, "Take that shit off of Insta." Well, he said, "Take that shit down." And I was a little confused, and I was like, "What are you talking about, Danny? Like, what do you mean take what down?" So I went and looked at my feeds and stuff like that, and I sent him a message, and I said, "Are you talking about the picture I posted in my sports bra?" Because I was confused because it was not any type of explicit sexually, innuendo. Nothing was there about that. It was, I just got done working out. I laid out on my couch. I was tired as hell. And I just put I was bored. And he said yes. So I went and looked at the picture again, and I noticed he didn't watch the feed. And his wife actually watched the feed instead. And I put two and two together. And apparently I did something wrong enough where she felt like she should show him what I was doing on Instagram, which again was not wrong. There was nothing wrong with this picture. So I confronted him about it. And I told him, I was like, "Listen, you guys were just completely judging me on this photo that I put down that or put up that was really not that big of a deal. Clearly, she felt the need to show my brother this picture because something was wrong with it. And I got deeply offended by it. And I didn't understand what the point was because I'm sure she's looked at other photos, but didn't feel the need to show my brother. So I felt like some type of situation was going to happen, or she was trying to start something pretty much, like get a reaction from my brother from this post. So I explained to my brother, like, "Oh, yeah, this is, yeah, clearly Leanne, his wife, was trying to get some type of reaction out of you." Well, anyways, it got into this huge argument about how I was overreacting, which maybe I was, but I felt completely judged. And I didn't think that there was a need to have that, especially for my brother, because we are best friends. And we got in a pretty big fight. It ended with a bad taste in my mouth, a taste in his mouth, and we didn't talk for quite some time. And then Christmas came around, which was awkward, super, super awkward. I mean, I was nice. Obviously, my daughter, I want her to have a relationship with with her uncle and aunt and their baby, obviously her cousin Declan. Um, and it was super awkward. You could tell the tension was there, but it is what it is. So fast forward a little bit, my nephew just turned 1, and they were going to have a party, but because of COVID, they decided not to or whatnot. And my parents and Gabby went up to go see him, and basically Leanne and Danny decided that my parents didn't need to see him or couldn't see him because of COVID. Along with Gabby, basically did a drive-by type of thing. But what I found out afterwards is that, obviously my nephew is still going to daycare. He's still going to the other grandparents' house as well. So obviously that struck a chord with me, as in, whoa, why can his other grandparents or set of grandparents not see him, but the other ones can? And he's going to daycare. So clearly the COVID stuff is kind of I think, an excuse. And I'm not saying they're trying to not have my parents or Gabby see Gabby's cousin or their grandson. But the issue is there where there was just no reason, I think, to not have them be able to see Declan. I think that, so obviously that upset me quite a bit. And I actually got a hold of my brother and we got into a huge argument about it. He told me that I had no idea what I was talking about and that I was speaking out of line. And I tried to explain to him that I saw the hurt in my parents' eyes on not being able to hold their grandson or talk to their grandson, but yet the other half can. So clearly I'm obviously sticking up for my parents. And so it kind of got into a huge argument about, again, I was overstepping my boundaries with my brother and the respect for his wife. And pretty much I was out of line with the entire thing. My brother asked me not to speak to him again for the rest of the night and not to text him because he was seeing red. And I said, okay. I mean, I think I did text him, but it was nothing crazy. And then about 2 days later, I get a pretty decent sized text from him outlining everything. And he had a good points to everything. My brother is extremely smart. He's extremely objective. And I love him for that. But a lot of the stuff that he said in this text message, which granted, maybe it should have been we should have been talking, with each other rather than texting, but emotions are high right now. And a lot of the stuff he said in this text message really hit home, like in my heart, like it really, really bothered me. I started to cry. I didn't react right away, but basically he told me that his wife does not approve of my lifestyle and how I live and how I'm raising Gabby, which goes back to, I don't know if, I know at the beginning when I had told my ex to leave because it was so toxic, I didn't want any of that in my house with my daughter. And I felt like that was the right thing to do. I do own a gym, as we all know. I do have another job. I work. Gabby is extremely well taken care of. So her comments to him on me not, or her not agreeing with my lifestyle or how I do things is pretty unwarranted. We really don't know each other well enough for her to make that accusation on me. So clearly I got defensive on that. I love my brother. I've always had an issue with girls that he's dated because I am protective of him, but I did welcome her. I wasn't mean to her. I wasn't rude to her. But this whole part of her judging me on how I raise my own daughter clearly struck a chord with me. And I'm not gonna sit there and stand back and be like, oh, okay, it's okay. If you don't want to be a part of my life or what I do, then that's fine. Don't do it. Then it goes into my podcast, the UnBroken podcast. I know a while back I had interviewed my brother, and in that interview, I did mention his ex, that was an accident and I didn't mean to, but according to him, it was okay. We didn't talk about anything really about his ex, but I did mention his ex. Apparently it struck a chord with his current wife, which I understand, but there was no discussion on their actual relationship. It was more of me being upset because she broke his heart. And I was upset, obviously, because I love my brother. Well, it went into my next podcast after that. I know the podcast after that went into a sexual nature with a couple of the guests that I had on there, which was funny. It was funny. It was, you know what I mean? I have an explicit podcast, you guys. It's not something that is for kids to hear. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with who I am right now. I'm fine with expressing who I am right now. I'm not trying to offend anybody or get anybody in trouble. If you don't want to listen to my podcast, then don't listen to it. That's your right. You don't have to listen to anything. But my brother told me that he had to sit their family down and tell them about me or about why I was doing this podcast and who I was and all of these things and about how he can see all the pain that I'm going through and a bunch of, for me, BS. Because one, I am sorry, Danny, I'm calling you out right now. If you are that embarrassed of me to have to sit down your wife's family to tell them about why I do the podcast that I do, but quite frankly, you don't have to listen to it. I mean, that's your right. You don't have to listen to it. But I think the biggest thing with my brother right now is that he didn't have my back. He didn't have my back to say, listen, this is her. This is, you know what I mean? She's not offending anybody. I'm hurting anybody personally because I haven't. From the get-go, I've talked about this podcast being extremely real, extremely raw, whether I have guests on or not, but I'm not on this thing to hide anything. I'm not on this thing to make people feel better. I want people to laugh. I want people to be happy, but I'm not here to hold anybody's hand or give anybody a participation trophy, because that's just not my job. That's your own job to take care of yourself. Like, but I do want to be here for people as a sounding board and to tell me like what they want to hear more of and things of that nature. So the fact that I guess I should have respected my brother in telling me that he just didn't agree with what I was doing on this podcast, but in hindsight, he just doesn't need to listen. And I explained that to him before. You don't need to listen to what I'm doing on this podcast because it's going to get dirty. And it did. It got super, super dirty, but it was funny as heck and people loved it. So that broke my heart, obviously, knowing that he was embarrassed of me to that nature, to have to sit his wife's family down, or whoever it was that he was sitting down. And then another part of this whole thing was that when he got married, it was a really uncomfortable situation for me, not because he was getting married, but I was happy for him getting married. I think it was great. He waited. He found the love of his life, which is amazing. And I completely commend them from that. They had a beautiful wedding. But it was really uncomfortable because from the get-go, I was not accepted into the wedding party. I think I was asked to be in the wedding just because I was my brother's sister, it happens. But being there was extremely uncomfortable for me. I just felt like I was completely pushed to the side, which is fine. I'm not saying I have to be the center of attention at anybody's wedding, but you do expect the bridesmaids and, everybody to get together and have a good time and be one and whatever, getting the bride ready for whatever, obviously the wedding. But it was super, super uncomfortable for me. And then when the wedding photos came out, I noticed some photos I was cropped out of. And that obviously broke my heart. And the only reason I know I was cropped out of them is because you could see my hand, or you could see like my wedding ring in one of them. You could see, things like that. So I knew I was cropped out of them. So I explained to my brother that was another issue that I was having with what was going on between us. And he asked me to show him what pictures I was talking about. So I sent them to him. Because I had them, because obviously I think anybody in a wedding, I think, doesn't want to be completely cropped out of a photo, whether or not it's you're with your best friends, your sister, or whatever it is. Like, that's just a shitty feeling to have. So with that said, the end of our conversation was I tried to explain to him that I loved him very, very much. And I'm sorry that I was an embarrassment to him and his wife's family. But for right now, all I want to worry about is my daughter, having a relationship with them, and obviously her cousin Declan. And just, I'm going to take a step back from, our relationship right now. And that's how it ended. And my brother said, okay, so be it. So as for right now, my brother and I are not talking. It breaks my heart. It hurts my heart because he's an amazing, amazing person, but I also understand he has to take his wife's, he has to support his wife. He has a family to take care of. He has a duty to her, and I get it. Like, I'm not asking him to choose sides or anything, but I do need him to understand that the hurt that he created, or not he created, the hurt that happened from the dynamics of the situation we have going on right now, it just breaks my heart. Because we've been best friends for a very, very long time, obviously. So the whole judgment thing comes on that. That's the whole topic. I know that was a long-winded explanation, but the judging somebody on what they're doing to create their brand or become a better person, or whatever it is that they have in their head that they want to do, judging them on that factor is completely not okay in my book. I've learned a lot about judging people. I used to judge people all of the time. It was part of my jam, which was not a good thing for me to do. Sorry. But I've learned because people judge me all the time, and whether it's a good thing or bad thing, well, I don't know. But I try not to judge anymore. I just try and accept people and understand people and see where people are going with stuff, and realize that that's their jam. That's what they want to do. That's what they're doing to build whatever it is that they're trying to build. And to pretty much tell a family member that they're an embarrassment is pretty hurtful, when really I haven't done anything wrong. I think me obviously being a single mom and owning a business, and obviously trying to kick butt as much as I possibly can, and obviously with the help of my parents and Carla, I wouldn't be able to be doing everything that I'm doing right now. But to tell me that your wife, Danny, doesn't agree with how I'm living my life or choosing to do what I do is completely uncalled for. And it's going to take me a long time, just being real, you guys. It's going to take me a long, long time to understand that comment. And so please, and I encourage all of you listeners right now to reach out to me and tell me, like, Marina, you're being a brat. You need to just be the bigger person and say, okay, or Marina, no, stand your ground, or whatever it is. Like, obviously, this is something very, very new to me. I've never had this happen to me. I'm being judged, yes, but not with my brother, the one person who was supposed to have my back all the way to the very, very end. And to not have him is obviously very scary for me. I have a lot of friends. I have, it's just, but your own brother. It's scary to know that my last conversation with him might have been the other day. I don't know. I don't know, and I hope that that's not the case. And that we will reconcile, but I just don't know where it's supposed to go from here, and that's the scary part for me. Which I think for anybody, not knowing where anything's going, um, it just it's hard. It's hard not knowing the future. It's hard not knowing what's going to happen. And but that's, I guess, the cool thing in life. You just don't know. You just don't know where things are going to go. And I guess I've learned to appreciate that somewhat. But again, when it comes from your brother, your best friend who's been there for everything that you've gone through, So, anyways, you guys, with that said, we're going to keep this short and sweet today. I know I've babbled for a little bit, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys a backstory of what is happening. And I encourage, please, all of you, DM me at my Instagram. I have a couple of them. One for my gym. It's IB_fitness24. We have mogul_mommy. My email address, Marina Teel at ibfitness.net. And tell me like what I should do. And I'd be more than happy on my next recording to talk about the DMs and the questions that I've gotten with regards to this, because any help that I can get outside of therapy, obviously, is going to help me, because it's going to be on more of a personal level, I think, coming from my listeners on this topic. So with that said, you guys, I love you very, very, very much. And obviously I'd like to thank our sponsors, obviously Attorney King, Saquon Casino and Resort, Indian Motorcycles of San Diego, the gym, Serrano's Coronado downstairs, the best bean and cheese burritos you will ever have in your entire life. And obviously my gym, IB Fitness. So with that said, you guys, I love you guys dearly. XOXO. Until next time, we will chat with you guys soon. Okay, bye.